Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
Come back. We're talking about Black wellness, health and wellness, and I'm joined by my sister. How you doing, Miss Lachey? How you doing?
Well, Miss LaShanya, I'm doing well, everyone. How you doing, Sister Rolanda?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
That's
good.
good.
How are things? How are you feeling on this warm day?
Well, I'm excited about the weather. I am. And after this, I'm gonna go enjoy it for a little while it's here. But I'm sad we haven't had much rain. Hopefully to come. But I always believe the earth take care of itself. People want it to rain excessively, but I think the earth takes care of itself. Gives us what we need and then move on. But I'm enjoying looking forward for the summer.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to jump right in it with you and talk about health and wellness and pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much unless you live in the world of pregnancy, then you probably talk about it a lot. But sometimes I feel like in our community, we don't necessarily talk about the importance of wellness, particularly
Right.
before, during, and after you're pregnant. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Your pregnancy. So,
Right.
how would you rate how we are doing in the pregnancy fear?
Well, honestly, I feel like we've come a long way since I'm gonna be really current since 2013, 11, since the Black Child Legacy campaign rolled out. Um, because we know there's many disparities in our community. One of them with SIDS, sudden infant death with our babies, our Black babies, and that was just the lack of resources and education of how to properly sleep our babies, what to do, how the importance of breastfeeding. And this has been something that's been talked about for many years, but it was Supervisor Phil Cerner who heard it after many, much research and data presented and said, let's just push this. So I know with the perinatal piece, since 2013, the statistics and data has shown that the number has increased. However, we still have a long ways to go.
So
Babies are born every
what is
day.
the long way to go? What is it that we're trying to do?
We just need everyone to be educated. We need lots more, not because just one, there's only a few of us here in Sacramento County that is on this campaign for healthy Black babies, healthy Black mothers, healthy Black families. There's only a few of us. So we can just get others on board, educated. I feel there's this new trend coming down with Black doulas. There's not enough of us. It's like the work has went. We know our ancestors were doulas. We know our ancestors were midwives, and it just kind of went away because what for whatever reasons. But we, as Black doula, I am myself, and I have 6 others that I work with in our organization that are doulas. It's not enough of us. It's not enough. We can only connect with a certain percentage. I do know that the county Medi-Cal is coming down with some dollars to support that, and we can get others to buy into that. Become, and it doesn't take much to be a doula. That pregnancy support during and after, pre-postpartum, after postpartum, and in between. If we can get more on board to campaign so we can have more healthy Black babies born, it'll be a great day. I'm sure, there's many aspects to it, but again, I just think we have a long ways to go because it's something that's new that's coming around. We don't sell. There was a time when we wouldn't celebrate Black pregnancy, right? It was like, especially if it was a young mom, you was looked up on, and you still are a certain way, or ooh, don't do that. Pregnant and Black pregnancy and having healthy Black babies is a beautiful thing. So we celebrate it. We embrace it.
I know. So I think one of the things that is lacking in Black professionals is that they don't know their history.
Uh-huh.
So Sacramento was in 1992. There was a Black woman who worked for the state of California. She was I have to always tell that story because I think the problem that we have is that people will tell us like we're just starting this, and it's like nothing that we have ever done is new. Nothing. Yeah. I don't care what people tell you. So this woman got 10 of her friends and decided to match up each of those friends with a community, a pregnant teen or a woman, and they sheltered that woman through the pregnancy. Also during this time, it was the crack epidemic.
Oh yeah.
That we conveniently keep leaving out of the equation to what happened to our families, if you will. Because all of these people, a lot of them came from the South.
Right.
So they came from where Black folks just put their hands around each other and took care of each other. That's like when you look at the history of WCIC. Those were all Southern Black Christian women who came together and put their coins together and made sure people had housing, had a place to come when they came up from the South, wherever they came.
Correct.
So I feel like we know we had things in the past that absolutely work. The other part is I think that the birthing project is who I'm making reference to under Catherine Hall. I feel like that's because Catherine Hall and those guys came from the era of do for self. That was a time when nobody trusted the county. Nobody wanted their kids to be in the system.
Oh yeah.
Nobody. So this is when Black people was like, we're gonna do all we can to keep out the system. So it kind of feels weird that we'll be talking about like the work with the county, but it's like I don't know a campaign. Like I feel like campaigns don't work as well for Black folks if Black folks are not spearheading it. Like other communities, like it works really well for Latinos because they have a structure
and others
they all agree with, and others. But you know what I mean? With Black people, is always like people are like creating what they think we want instead of seeing what is the structure, or maybe we don't have no structure anymore. And the crack era tore that up.
Oh yeah, I'm with that. Generation X. Listen, I feel like the generations after us, if we don't instill those values in our these babies are lost, and we we blame it on them. But crack tore families apart in the 80s, in the 90s. I grew up. If you can survive through that, I think you can survive through anything, and that's real talk, you know. Yeah. But going back to what you said of Mother Catherine Hall, the birthing project was one of the first in Sacramento, and now we have Black Mothers United, Her Health First. That's a spinoff. So I'm so honored to be part of that organization because when I moved here in '96, I remember running into I call her Mama. Queen Mother. When I remember running into Queen Mother, and so and then I remember running into Kenya and Leona and Mrs. Roberts in those early years. And I remember saying, I want to work here. I wanted to do this. And lo and behold, a few years, maybe 20 years later, about 20 years later, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm so honored to be part of it. But going back to what you said about us not having a structure, we don't have a construction, we don't have a structure or a connection. And again, it's important that we do. It's not that when you know better, you do better, right? And when you have the right support, I don't know a parent or a caretaker that don't want to do right by their babies, or a mother that doesn't want the right information, and how do I do this? Because if you don't know, you don't. So, and a lot of times we're going by the tradition of, of our just, our ancestors. I mean, our mothers and aunties, and that's not always the best. That's not always the best. However, with our organization, we make sure we meeting our families where they're at. Just because I know and have experience don't mean I know what's right for you and your family. We want them to feel the birthing experience is theirs, not our own. And we teach them to advocate, because when they do go to the hospitals, or when they do meet with their nurse practitioners or whoever, half of them they're not even listening. They're telling our mothers and families what they should be doing, but there's no education behind it, or they're not listening to their concerns. So you get sick mothers, sick babies coming out with, issues or heart issues, or the mother just developed diabetes or hypertension. It's because the practitioner or the nurse or the doctor is not paying attention to us. And what I mean, I'm not going to be apologetic. Black people, Black women, they're not, and this doesn't have anything to do with your your socioeconomic background.
Yep. So
has nothing how much money you have. It's just the color of your skin, and they don't know how to treat us. They just don't know how to serve us as a people. And so it's not enough Black doctors too.
I was like, but where does that come from? Because most of the people we talk about are so-called people of color.
Yeah,
it ain't just white people. Now I know we can stop saying that.
People of color is different from Black. So I never say I'm a person of color. I don't say I'm of color. I'm Black. Okay, that's what I am. Of color can mean Hispanic. It can mean Asian. It can mean, I'm not of color. I am Black. So again, when I say that, it's just we don't have enough Black doctors and practitioners. We don't have enough doulas to serve our communities and give us the education, work with our families, because it may not just be the pregnancy. I may have stress and I'm pregnant because my lights is off. I may have stress because I'm in an abusive relationship. I may have stress because I'm homeless. So we have to make sure that all of those silos are met. All of those issues are met. That hierarchy of needs. I'm sorry, I was a preschool teacher prior to Maslow's hierarchy of needs: food, shelter, love, and then of course all of that is going to make a person whole. Well, we may be lacking some of those areas. If I have shelter, I may not be able to keep my lights on. Or if I have, I may not have love, which is a great component. And then we're not going to talk about childhood trauma that leaks into us of the pregnancy and causes mental health. And it's, again, we were told, and Sister Rolanda, I know you know what I'm talking about. And I say this all the time. Oh, you can do it. You're strong. We built for that. The devil is a lie. No, I wasn't. No, I need help. That's not fair for you to tell me to take this, shake it off. I'm made to take trauma, or I'm made to take being mistreated or talk to a certain way. That's not fair. That's so a myth. And we have to learn how to see those curses and break them down and get the help that is needed. There's also not enough Black psychiatrists or therapists. There just isn't, or the ones that are in don't understand. And I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say it.
No, please.
Okay. I don't feel comfortable, although I'm in therapy and she's Black. I don't feel comfortable with talking to someone other than someone that looks like me and understands me. Because as a white individual or white woman, there's no way you can relate to me as a Black woman and the trauma and the things I've been through, And so we try, again, I love our group, all African-American women, all 6 pregnancy coaches. King is our director. You have Leona as I know you know who that is, Leona Spivey. She's our lead head pregnancy coach. And then we have Shannon, who she's not African-American, but she understands us. She's the one that help us do the work we do by making sure she's listening to us, because we're the ones that's on the ground. We're working with the clients, and I'm sorry, I don't like to say clients, our family. She makes sure that our needs are met as doulas and pregnancy coaches to continue to work to best serve our families. Our team is great. Again, there's not enough of us out there. There isn't enough. Black doulas, mental health specialists that can help us through all challenges, and then just overall support of Black families. It's just not enough. What can we do? That's the question.
So I feel like this. This is just for me. I'm really past the white supremacy stuff. That's done for me. I've been doing this work for over 35 years. I'm really done with that word. Because sometimes, like, I've had a Black therapist, awful. I had a Black woman before. Awful. So I and then the person who really helped me on my journey ended up being a white man.
Okay.
Yeah, who did more listening and really tried to understand where I was coming from. He didn't assume that.
There you go. You know
what I'm saying? And
yes,
but I know there got to be some good Black psychologists too. They exist. But I also think sometimes the familiarness that we do as Black people can be just as damaging.
Right.
We assume that sometimes white supremacy is not your issue. Sometimes it's colorism.
Real talk.
Sometimes it's classism.
Okay, classism. You're right. No, you're right.
Sometimes it's people clicking up and stuff, and people think because you big and Black, you should be a mammy. Like, I mean, these are experiences that I've had.
Right.
I also think when you talked about your boss, here's a white woman. I'm pretty sure the boss they had before her wasn't as good as her.
Correct. Right. Yeah.
And she was Black.
Yeah.
So I feel like Black folks are in this space where I so wish it was cut and dry. We deal with more so-called people of color who are making these decisions because they have their own anti-Black. And then we think and we saying of color like it's going to help all of us, but when they go for resources, they go specifically for themselves.
Say that again.
They go specifically for themselves. They don't ask for us. We up there advocating for the whole world. We may get 5%. You know what I mean? They advocate for 100% of themselves. So I feel like we really got, I remember one time I was giving a lecture at a Black infant health conference here in Sacramento. And I had lost a child before myself. Yes. And when I had to reflect on my own contribution, if you will, to my event, I had to talk about how I was overworked. At the time, I was a Black woman who was in this who worked me like a slave. Okay. Knowing that I was over 30. Okay. This is my first child. You know what I mean? Knowing that I had diabetes, I had all kind of stressors. I was with someone who was very loving, who wanted me to stop working. But because I was the Black woman, I was like, I need to work.
Yeah, because we told that. We're told.
Like, why are you still working?
Yeah, we told that.
You know, so I'm just saying, so it's I feel like when I'm trying to figure out how to help Black people be better, we forget our own power.
Which we have a lot of.
You know what I mean? Because that's how we made it through everything anyway. I'm not saying our stuff is right, no. But I think that we keep trying to do new age stuff. And meanwhile, the people who call it new age, they went to your old stuff to get their new stuff.
You say that all they did was what? Put a little technology. Okay, we're not going to get into that. But tell the truth and shame the devil.
You know how Big Mama make you have a seat? You know how Big Mama be like, now sit down here and rest for a minute? That was time. They call that time out. Like, did we call it sit down? That's what I was great. So you had to sit down. You know what I mean? So I just feel like I think there is something about looking back at history and pulling out those gems. Like, I don't always see us honoring people who paved the way. We talk a lot about our ancestors and how they fought for us, but we don't even honor the ones who made it through.
You know, we don't. We really don't. And again, that just takes, like you said, history. First of all, knowing who you are, setting your boundaries, whether it's within your workplace and your family. Family can be very toxic. You know, they really can. And so you have to know who you are and know when to say when. This is my rest day. This 5 minutes is for me. If them dishes in the sink now, guaranteed they're gonna still be there in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You hurt? You
No,
understand?
right
Or
on.
I don't feel like doing that. I need, my brain is hurting, my body is shutting down. And that's another thing we don't do. We do not listen to our body. It is okay to take a few minutes out for yourself. It is okay to take 2 or 3 days to yourself. If you go to the park, sit by the water, I find that therapy. Listen to some jazz, burn a candle, go in the bathroom and take a hot bath, whatever it be. But if we don't listen to ourselves mentally and take those steps to focus on us and rejuvenate, re-energize ourselves, that causes all the elements, the heart attacks, the stress,
Mhm.
the hypertension, all of those things. And then we say, "Oh, I know God gonna heal me." Yeah, but God gave you five senses too. And when your body tells you to do something, shutterdown.com. That's all you got to do. And that's another component of just the education of what is mental health. What does it look like? Because we normalize a lot of things that's associated with mental health. We normalize it because we're so used to doing it. Not knowing it is not okay. So not only identifying what is mental health, what am I going through, what are my stressors that's causing this, and then also needing to identify what techniques can I do so that I can help myself, so I can. And sometimes mental health is, I believe it is a disease, and it's, don't, you just can't get rid of it like that, but I do believe you can control it, right, and take steps to monitor it and keep it under control. I do believe that. I do, because trauma is real. And if I'm in my late 40s and I've had trauma since I was a child, that's years of trying to make it right, right? I can't. But what I can do is recognize that trauma, understand that those issues. And when I'm finding myself brinking on that or walking on that bridge detour, I'm gonna get out of this land of hell and I'm gonna walk in these flowers and regroup. But again, that takes practice, technique, and support.
If you are a teenager, for
Mhm.
instance,
Mhm.
find out that you're pregnant, what would be 5 steps you think that teenager should take in her pregnancy?
One, first of all, connect with someone to get support. That's the first thing. Connect with someone to get support. Two, come up with a plan. How are you planning on taking care of yourself, taking care of your baby? Figure out who your support system is. Number three, figure out who's supporting you, who is going to be your support system. Four, stay connected with your OBGYN, your pregnancy coach, or your doula. You know, you young and you always have time. Keep them doggone appointments.
Mm.
Ask questions. Ask questions that the individual can answer. Your pregnancy coach, doula, we answering all the questions because we get them as young as 12 and 13 in our services, Yolanda.
Right on.
And
Right
they,
on.
and number five, just remember to be patient with yourself. It's okay. It's not a curse that you're pregnant. It's not a disease. It's okay. You're getting ready to have a life. That is
Right
a
on.
beautiful thing. You're getting ready to have life. That's going to make you a queen. You're a queen because you're giving life. So just straight, those are the five. But like I said, just connect. Go ahead.
So, what if you're a woman that is over, say, 35 and you're a black woman and you decided to have your child, or first or third or whatever?
Probably the same. Find out, first of all, is this what you want to do? Come up with your birthing plan. Uh, Not always, but if you're not, figure out how you're going to support the baby. Because again, we can all work, but I don't know if you've seen gas and food. Inflation is
Woo.
real. So if you need to get connected with services, do that. But again, making sure that mentally, and I guess I should have said this for the younger, mentally you are ready for this pregnancy.
Mm.
That's the key. Mentally, it takes a lot from a woman when she's pregnant. It does. You have to be here. So making sure that you're mentally ready, getting the support, finding out who your support system is, keeping up with those doctor's appointments, same information, keeping up with those doctor's appointments, listen to your body. If something, your body will tell you if something is not right. Don't second guess or call your auntie or your grandma or your mama. Go see your doctor and even if you got a hunch, still go get checked out, because we never know. And I don't believe in these shouldn't have. Now I'm 47, I'm not having damn other child. Okay. However, I don't believe life, giving life is beautiful. So I don't believe that there's myths. Your baby may come out with some disease or Down syndrome. That's the biggest myth. I think society kind of told us that. If you're capable of getting pregnant, all you need to do is should be taking the right steps to have a beautiful, healthy baby. Take care of yourself. Of course, when we get older, our body does do different things. So we just got to know that and educate ourselves on what we're capable of doing. And in our 30s, we can no longer do in our 20s, or in our 40s, we shouldn't be doing in our 20s and 30s.
That's real talk.
Stop the shenanigans right now. But just overall, just making sure you're ready. Finding out main thing is finding out your support system, and then it's preparing yourself to have a healthy Black baby.
What about men folk? What things should men folk be thinking about doing? Because they have a role in this too. You can't even.
I promise you. I am also part of an organization, and I'm sure you know Richard Johnson and Imani Lucas, called United and Guided. And they are the brothers out there at Tahoe Park. Let me put that on blast. That's out there supporting our Black men and their families. Every Sunday, 10 to 4 or some. And I say 4. It's supposed to be 2, but we get a good domino game playing or some checkers or basketball or football. We stay out there till 4. But the fathers come out with their scholars, and also. They're eating their basketball camp or just out there together as a whole, talking amongst each other, a father group. I think that is the best thing we can do. Also, I know they have a pop talk. We're also doing a podcast. They're also doing a podcast where we're just getting brothers in the room talking about them, their family, what steps they need to take, how they should be supported as well. Because it's just not just the mamas. And society has for so long put all the focus on the mothers. Well, there's a daddy, and it's a good daddy. You understand? There's not always the deadbeat. And again, I always say, if you know better, you do better. I have never seen for a long time, I have been seeing this, that a lot of Black fathers are involved with their families. But society doesn't have enough support. As, like I said, with Black mothers, there's not enough of organizations such as, United and Guided to support the dads. We need more intentional groups. Let me be specific, intentional, with an intent to support those fathers. And I believe there's a segment coming up or down. They talk about families in their pop group and the roles. There was one young man and his wife. I was just their doula, and cute, just had a little baby boy, just as cute as he can be. So I was their doula, and his role is important because I was on Duo, and I was like, stand right there, hold her hand, count, push. Wipe her forehead, get that. I was right there on Dulo, but he seen his baby born, and he said, "Hey, Mr. Chanya, I've never had that experience before." So they need to be included, included as well as everyone else, included in that. That it has to be inclusion for it to be a unit.
So do you think though, because this is where I think we struggle at as women. Maybe it's a question I should be asking a man, but I feel like with women, we make it our business to talk to our girls about all of that stuff. But I don't know where boys get that education at, what their duties are as father, as man, as being around a lot of Africans from the continent. I watch how tight the men are, how they explain it to them. Men are providers, men do this, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where our boys get those messages from.
Well, to be honest with you, I'll just use my own experience. I have my youngest of four had his first child at 18. Okay, so I have my grandson baby will be 3 in July. He got it from his mama and his dad. Of course, my late husband passed away in 2016. I think he taught him enough just modeling a father in the home doing that. But again, that's not everybody's story.
No, I get you.
Right. That's not everybody, but just watching his pop modeling when it was time for him to come, when it was time for him to have his son, he stepped up to the plate. And then he also has the support from his mama. Because you ain't got no choice but to take care of that. You'll see, but still. And I'm not doing it because I'm grandmother. I'm support, and we have a tendency to shelter our men and disable instead of enabling them because we want to do it because they're mama's babies or mama's boys. Can't do that. You have this baby and it's going to be trials and tribulations and it's going to be parenting errors and it's okay. So I think again, a group like United and Guided will be that support system for that father because there's older fathers and there's younger fathers, and they can come and talk about it. I don't know what to do. The baby is up all night. She want to sleep. I want to sleep. But at least it's that support group. Well, what do I do if the baby have colic? I can say it all day long, but I'm not a man. Right. And I say that about my boys, all my dudes all the time. Look, your mama only going to go where she knows. I cannot teach you or guide you as a man because I'm not. So I just believe it's just those support groups. We need more of those support groups for our young fathers so they can hear that this is what you need to do, or not even just hear it. I'm like, let me see you do it first. Let me see you model it. And just the modeling of the behavior of how, what you're supposed to do or the role you play as a Black father. So.
No, I just thought about that. I mean, I'm just making some notes. I do know a lot of men ran groups that are doing fantastic work because men are very diverse. I feel like I would love to see a conversation between them all. I want to know how men talk to men about domestic violence, or how men talk to men about when women and girls be acting a damn fool. Like how do we, every time I look at that Black femicide and know that every 6.5 hours a Black woman is murdered by a Black boy or man, I'm like, well, damn, like, do we be talking about this stuff at all? So, you know what I mean? But I also feel like maybe men are, and we just don't know. Like, I love Tyler Perry, but I would love for him to do some films that directly speak to Black men.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I just know men have a certain energy that they do with each other because I've seen it.
Yes, I see it all the time. Absolutely.
I talk to my nephew about something. Traverse. Then my brother come and go Traverse, and then he turn around. I be like, I just called this boy 10 damn times.
That's okay.
Like, there's an energy. You know what I'm saying?
It's not our role. It's not our role.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just wonder, even when it comes to childbirth, like, how do a man really feel when he sees his child being born?
Yeah.
What thoughts are going through his head?
Yeah.
Do he have that feeling? Do he have that feeling? Maybe they didn't have a dad. Does he have that feeling like, wow, what do I do? Because I never watched the man stick with, my mom to even help me. Like, I be really wanting to hear those conversations because I think that would help us all understand the importance of having men involved with men.
Yes, right.
Exactly. I think we do the best we can.
Because that's all we know how to do, right?
Yeah, but
I always allude. Yeah, right. Yeah, I always allude back to that. I know your daddy taught you guys enough. I've seen you evolve into men, but mommy, right now, sometimes because they come to me with stuff and like, man, my oldest one he's here and he's from Turlock. Mom, I miss dad. I need to talk to him about some man stuff, but he's also here to talk to his younger brother, right? And the stuff I was trying to say, he said, I'm like, hey, well, that's not my role. Shania, that's not your role. That's not your role. Okay, I get it. And again, we as Black women, I'm going to say this, we as Black women have to understand how to talk to our kings as well.
Mhm.
We got to learn
That's
how
a
to
whole
speak
nother,
to them.
that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
No, dead ass serious.
No, seriously.
I'm dead
So,
serious. 'Cause I
and
feel
when
like-
we're pregnant, when we are pregnant, they are pregnant and going through emotions too. That's what I was getting at. We don't acknowledge that they are having issues too. Like you said, what I'm gonna be a father, and I got to take care of this baby, and I am it is. So again, I just think there's not enough. There are some that are intentional. I believe in having the group should be intentional. The fathers group should be intentional and
I
focus
agree.
on our
I
dads.
think they should be talking about this in middle
Mhm.
school.
Right.
Then
Yeah.
not wait till the boy impregnate somebody. I think young boys
Uh-huh.
should be having conversations with men about fatherhood.
Period.
You know what I mean? What do
Proactive,
dads do? Why
not
do you
react.
need a
Pro.
dad? Yeah,
Mhm.
no, they're serious.
Yeah.
Not to
Proactive,
get
not
into
read.
the crisis of it, but I really believe, because I think one of the things we do, we put a lot of pressure on women to know
Yeah.
everything. Like
Uh-huh.
I just feel like, like how do you? I remember once when I was with my ex, and I remember we had gotten an argument, and I think I said some really ridiculous stuff, and then I said to him, "Does this affect your manhood?" or some stupid shit like that. And then he looked at me and bust out laughing. He said,
You don't know
"I
nothing.
have a mother and a father, and they made me a man."
There you go. See,
So his manhood didn't depend on how I felt about him.
we didn't know. You didn't know.
I really did.
But
'Cause I heard somebody say that before.
Yes, you
No,
did.
yeah,
That's it. It's learned behavior.
Yeah.
No,
he
no,
was like, he was a psychotherapist, but he was like, girl, but I just feel like when you're secure, you're not really relying on me to make you.
yeah,
Because you're already made.
right, right.
He reminded me I have a mother and a father, and they created
Already
me.
created, baby. I was created already. Yes.
And I
Yes.
just was like, oh, I got
Yeah.
check.
Right. And again, I think again, Rolando, I'll go back to it because the family tradition or the traditional family has been torn apart through over the decades, because we have 4 decades or maybe 2, 3, maybe 2.5, 3 for me.
Wow.
It's been a while. It's been torn apart. You just don't have those morals and those support in place. And I guess it's up to probably our generation to, put him back, because I'm a firm believer. There's some things that I had a grandma that taught me, okay, baby, tuck a little bit in your purse for hard times. Come on, tuck a little bit in your purse. And so what I'm talking. Tuck a little bit in your purse just in case it's an emergency. Your husband can't do it. You got it, baby. Don't worry about it. Here, I tuck them. Cook, clean, and also when he comes home, it should be a safe haven for him. It should be his sanctuary. It shouldn't be, he's already going through all kind of, and he's trying. Now, I didn't say anything about abuse and doing you wrong and being an adult. I didn't say that. Now, I don't want anybody like Mr. LaShanya. No. I said a good man / boyfriend / husband. That's what I said. Let's get it clear. Okay. Oh, that go record.
I get that.
I did not say anything, but
it's a balance. You just said a good man deserves good things, because it is a reciprocity in there.
It is.
That's how I looked at it.
Mm-hmm. Real talk. And when you support and y'all build together, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, Yeah, you guys need to be each other's piece.
How can people find you?
Do I want to put in the chat? Or?
You know what? Email me, because I'm with this one, this air, and then I'll put everything up as you're talking. So
what I will do is LaShanya Brazel I work for Black Mothers United, Black Parallel School Board, and I volunteer with United and Guided. So I'm on, all over the place.
That's another key part, is being active in your community.
Oh, definitely.
Tragedy. Do it because it's the right thing to do. Nothing's wrong with being activated. I get it.
Yeah.
But you should never wait to be activated.
You
You
know,
should do it because it's the right thing to do. This is your
period.
community.
Period. When
You know
I
what
came
mean?
here,
Don't wait for somebody to kill your baby, then you become a big time activist. Like
see,
you should be, you want to be
I
involved.
said pro. What I keep saying, pro, read, be pro. Please be proactive,
Yeah.
not read. I came here in 1996. Came here in 1996, and Faye Kennedy. I know who that's my queen mother. She's right now. She mentored my crazy. I was crazy. Oh, honey, I was crazy. But I came here from Stockton, and she mentored me and put me through college. Got me my associates in my early 20s, and I've pretty much been, working in the community since then. Parenting classes, facilitating meetings since my 20s. Early 20s when I moved here from Stockton. So I always said I'm going to always pay it forward because she didn't know me from a can of paint and took me under her wing when my husband and I moved here from Stockton, and just kind of groomed me. And I always pay homage to her. I always will. Love her to death. But back to what you were saying, I can be reached at I'll email the information. I'm with Black Mothers United or Her Health First. You can go on that page and you'll see my profile. And you'll see my little bio. You also can go to the Black Parallel School Board. I'll send that one to you and go to their profile and also see staff and I'm on there as well.
Right on.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sis, for
You're
making
welcome.
I'm gonna be getting back in contact because I'm gonna put a panel together so we can discuss some of this
Please.
stuff. So,
And also, yes. And also I'm going to send you a flyer, United and Guided, on April 3rd, which is a Sunday at Tahoe Park, because we're out there anyway every Sunday from 10 to 2. But this is a special event. It's our Spring Fest. We'll be there from 10, starts at 10, probably end around 4 or 5. We're cooking. We have hamburgers, hot dogs, entertainment, resource tables, and it's just bring your family, have fun, and I'll make sure you get that flyer as well, Miss Rolanda.
Right on. Thank you, and I'll share that when we do the live broadcast.
Yes,
that'll be great.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, sis. Don't move, y'all. I'll talk to y'all again. Stay well. Be well.
Bye. See everybody.
Artlist.io